Hi, welcome to Storytime. Today I'm going to read One Monster After Another. Story and pictures by Mercer, Meyer. One day Sally Ann wrote a letter to her best friend Lucy Jane. She put it in an envelope and put the envelope into her mailbox. But before the mailman came, a stamp-collecting Trollus crept up to the mailbox, stole the letter, and gabbled away with a smirk on his snark. But before the stamp-collecting Trollus could tear off the stamp and collect it, a letter-eating bombinat flew out of nowhere and snapped up the letter. Over the blue ocean of bubbly goo, the letter-eating bombinat flew. But before he could find a nice place to settle down and eat the letter, a bombinat munching grumly reached up out of the goo and grabbed him. But before the bombinat munching grumly could slither down into the sea for a nice bombinat lunch, snap! He was snagged by a big fishing net and hauled wiggly squiggly on board a fishing boat. But before the fishing boat could reach land, it was struck by a furious floating iceberg. Scrunch! As the ship went down, the captain quickly stuffed a note into a bottle. He pushed in the letter for good measure and then threw it into the ocean. But before anyone could find the bottle, a wild and windy typhoonigator came storming along, sucking up everything in its path. It sucked up the whole blue ocean of bubbly goo, the bottle too, then blew itself away. By morning, the wild and windy typhoonigator was full. So full of fishing boats, bottles, and bubbly goo that it had to let go. Down fell the letter, which was in the bottle, which was in the blue ocean of bubbly goo. Down fell the bottle, kerplop, right on the head of a paper-munching Yallapopus who lived on the edge of nowhere. The bottle broke, tinkle, plinkle, and out fell the captain's note and the letter. The Yallapopus smiled. It had been such a long time since he'd had any nice paper to munch. Gleefully, he grabbed the captain's note and munched it. But before he could munch the letter too, the stamp-collecting Trollus, who had just happened to be passing by, snatched the letter in his snark and ran away. The paper-munching Yallapopus trundled after him, shouting and loudly grimming. Suddenly, out of the sky swooped the letter-eating bombinat. Snap! He snapped up the letter. But before the letter-eating bombinat could eat the letter, he was snared in a net, caught flip-flop by the bombinat collecting Grithix. The Grithix, as everybody knows, is a bombinat collector, not a letter collector. He had no use for someone else's mail, so he did what anybody should do with a lost letter. He mailed it. The paper-munching Yallapopus and the stamp-collecting Trollus and the letter-eating bombinat watched helplessly as the Grithix opened an official-looking mailbox and dropped the letter in. And before they could steal the mailbox, a mailman rode up on an official-looking motorcycle. "Stop!" he cried. "Unhand that official mailbox!" There was nothing they could do. After all, he was an official mailman. The official mailman opened the official mailbox and took out all the letters. Away he rode, leaving the yellow papas and the Trollocs waving their paws in the air and wailing at the bombonat collecting Grythics. The Grythics didn't care a snickle. Paying no attention to all the noise, he walked home, clasping the letter-eating bombonat firmly under one arm. Finally, the letter is on its way. The official mailman places it in the mailbox. When Lucy Jane opened her mailbox that afternoon, inside was the letter from Sally Ann. "Dear Lucy Jane, nothing exciting ever happens around here. Please come and visit. Your best friend, Sally Ann." She packed her bags, off to visit her friend. The end.